All right, hello everyone. We are back with the cycle, the beginning of cycle number two. I have finished cycle number one last week. Yesterday we did some testing. I played some blitz games, did some puzzle rush during the stream yesterday, um, and today we are picking up on the second cycle of the book. I'm going to delete all of my progress and restart it here. That's kind of the method, as far as I'm aware, that kind of works best for doing this. So you can see right now I have, well, you might not be able to see behind my webcam, I guess, but you can see all the blue check marks. Hey, Thomas. You can see all the blue check marks on all of the different chapters, which means I've completed all of the variations from the first cycle. What I'm going to do here is click on delete my progress, and we are going to restart the book. So to give some very quick stats, actually, I did track my correct amount of puzzles, or puzzles solved correctly, and then, what percentage I got on this first cycle. Let me pull up the, oh, hold on. Give me 1 second. I think I need to log in again. Let me do this 1 moment. Okay, I'm back. um, but yeah, so I do have some stats here on the side I can give real quick in terms of the correct amount of puzzles solved and stuff like that. So on my statistics side of things, I correctly solved 898 of the 1,128 puzzles on cycle number one, which comes out to a percentage of 79.6%. That's between all of the easy, intermediate, and advanced exercises. In the easy section, I scored 99%. I think I had 2 mistakes in the first 200 puzzles, and sorry, there were more than 200 puzzles. I pretty much had like 2 mistakes in the first chapter, and then I got 80.4% of the puzzles correct in the intermediate section, and then the advanced section was pretty tough. I think I got like 48% of them correct. We definitely saw that those were more difficult than anticipated. Hey, Bobby. Hello, como estás? Bien, y tú? Yeah, so we're going to be starting off with the second go-around of things here. And let's get right into it. I will click into the easy exercises. I think if I hit learn right now, it's going to make me do these first 3 chapters. Maybe I can just go back and pause these chapters. Let's say I don't need to redo the introduction. I don't need to redo the summary of tactical motifs. I don't need to redo the instructions. Pause those first 3 chapters. I think if I hit learn now, it should jump me right into the into chapter 4, the easy exercise. There we are. Okay, so we are picking up again, cycle number 2. Let's get into it. Since I have solved all of these previously, it's going to be, I may have to resolve a fair amount of them because I very well may not remember the exact answers to all 1,128 puzzles. But for the most part, I'm trying to prioritize speed now rather than, I mean, I still want to get them correct and I still want to be accurate, but I'm going to do a little bit less explanation on what I'm thinking when I go through it now again on cycle 2, 3, and 4 and stuff like that. I'm really just going to try to have the speed take over. So let's get right into it. I remember this one from last time. This was, I believe it was rook f8 check, and then this sequence. take here and do this to win the piece. Rook to d2. Bishop takes f7, knight e5. This was either bishop takes knight or rook takes knight. I think it was rook takes knight. And then the pin. This was f3, I'm pretty sure. And then take that. Take the bishop, make the fork. I think it was taking the knight, if I am correct, and then we're up a couple pawns. This was take the knight and then checkmate on f8. This was a draw, I believe. I'm trying to remember the sequence for drawing. I think it was bishop e4 and then bishop f6. I think that was the idea. This was queen h6, rook f8, queen h7. This was knight c3 and then take the rook. This was rook takes d3. And I think you doubled up the rooks. And then I can't remember if you went to d2 or d1. I'm going to assume d1. Then you win the queen. Take the rook and get checkmate. Take the pawn and go on the attack. It was take a7, then take a6. Another take f7, take e5. Rook e3, I think is the idea. You hit the bishop as well as the queen. If you lose the knight, you get the bishop. If they take, you get mate on c2. Good. I think it's another capture pawn, queen h5 check. I think it's the same idea once again. Excuse me. Same thing. Queen h5 check, take, take. Even if they take the bishop, you get like rook e1 and bishop h6. Rook takes d5, taking advantage of the back rank. I think this was knight a4, and then queen b2, and then I think we took the e5 pawn. It was c5 or e5, I don't remember which one. I think it's e5, I believe so. Rook e5, queen f3, and takes d1 with check. Rook f6. Queen h5, fork and win the queen. I think you were taking g2. And then getting mate. Queen g7, and rook h8. Knight f6 and take the queen. Take, check, take the rook. I think this one was rook f2, check, and then you take the b4 pawn. What was the move order on this one? You either take the rook and then the knight, or the knight then the rook. I feel like you take the rook first, but I don't think it actually mattered which one you did first. But we're gonna go with the rook first. This was queen d5, rook e8. This was bishop e4, and then you get the c4 knight. I think you wanted to take with the rook to keep more pieces on the board, I think. Because of the opposite color bishops, you want better winning chances. I'm pretty sure this was rook e6, bishop d5, bishop g8. How's it going, Ernesto? Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of the easier stuff at the beginning, especially since we're kind of just running back through the patterns. I guess we just take the rook. I think it was take here, and then bishop g6. Let's check here and take the rook. This one was not a puzzle. I think we played f6 and then some kind of just general improvement move. It might have been bishop f4, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Check pin. Take, oops, put a pawn. Take here, fork and get the knight. I think it was take h7 and then come back. Yeah. Okay, good. Back rank stuff. I think this was knight f7, I believe. And then mate. I think this was rook takes d5. Rook takes h7, queen h3 to g6. This was bishop g2, rook g4. This is queen g2 and give mate. This is f3, take the rook and give mate. I think this was bishop h2 first, and then fork, win the rook. Take here, win the bishop. Take here, win the rook. Take rook, fork, take, and then you have the skewer on the e file. I think they wanted us to do it this way to be up a couple pawns. Take here, open up the attack and take the bishop. I think it was knight takes f5, then d5. Take d5, then trap the queen. Take f2 and get the rook down to the second rank. I think this was take f3. And then queen c2. Take e6, bishop g6. Bishop g6 still. Bishop b5. Rook d8, bishop f8. Take f6, queen takes b5, trade b8, bishop e5, I think was the idea on this one. Yeah, good. Take here, check, and then mate on f7. This was take on f6. This was to take the knight and then discover check. And I grew up a rook. Win a pawn due to the pin. Check, take, nothing black can do to stop queen h6. Check, take, nothing to stop the mate on the g file. Check and mate on the h file. Take h2 and then knight g4, I think was the idea here. Bishop takes g2, rook g6 and win the rook on f1. Take c3 and win the queen. Take f6 and win the queen. Take e4 and then bishop d5, I believe. I think that's the idea here. Take this. Keep taking, take this. Take g2, check, and mate. Check, give that up, win the queen. I think this wins a pawn. This also nets a pawn. Knight takes d4, knight takes rook e1 check. If rook takes d4, bishop takes d4. Win a pawn due to the back rank problems. Knight takes with bishop g5 intentions, otherwise we drop back to keep the bishop safe. Check here and get the rook. Take here and win the pawn. I think it's take b3, and you can't really stop the pawn from getting to b2. Take e5, check and win the queen. Take f6, check. Take the rook. Bishop takes b2, check. Take here, come back. Knight takes c3, rook takes queen a2 is mate, knight takes queen takes, rook takes is good. I think it was knight takes c3. This was either knight f4 or bishop f4. I think it was knight f4. Oh, wait, this was rook e3. This wasn't knight f4, this was rook e3. And then bishop f4. Yeah, because I think I remember thinking knight f4 when I was solving this one previously, but knight f4, there's queen f5, and white defends the rook. Okay. I think this was bishop e4. I think this was bishop e4. And then you're ahead a pawn. Or I guess you're not ahead a pawn, but the e2 pawn is very strong. Queen takes c7, I think picked up a pawn in this position. Take on d5, e5, and you have a good position. Take h3, f2, d1. Take d7, c5, e4. I think this was rook e3 or queen g2 first. I think rook e3 first. And then we have mate. Check here. Just win the rook. Take the knight, check, and mate on h8. Take h2, then g2, then fork on e3, and you're up a piece. Take the pawn, check, and win the bishop. This was take g7, then bishop h8 was the weird move, but eventually we get the mate. It was either take e2, then d3, or d3 right away. It can't be d3 right away because the queen takes, so you do this first, take this. Hey, how's it going, Luke? Yeah, try to blaze through it, mainly because we're on cycle 2 and just going for the speed at this point. Alright, take f7 and then e6 and then mate. Check here. Get this kind of typical back rank skewer idea. I think it's take f4 then e2. I think it's bishop takes c4, but let me double check. I'm pretty sure. And then you mate on h8. Take g4, rook g6. I think this was d4 and then queen a7, but I don't remember if it mattered whether you went to b6 or a7. I think it was a7. Oh, okay, alternative, queen b6. Okay, I don't think the alternative affects my score. I hope not. This should still count as a solved puzzle, as far as I'm aware. Okay, take this, check, and take here. You're finding these runs a lot of help, has made you excited to get over puzzles. Yeah, that's great to hear. Yeah, I think for puzzle solving, one of the most important things is kind of, once you get into doing it a bunch, I think it becomes more enjoyable. It may not be the most enjoyable when you're kind of, feel like you're slogging through things and you feel like you just like have to do it and you have maybe you're not necessarily excited about it, but I think if you find some some way to make it interesting or kind of make the training a little bit different than you might usually have it, then it definitely makes it more exciting. I agree. I forget which knight we take with on e6. I don't remember if it matters. I'm going to use this one. Okay. I don't think it really matters. You can use the other one too. Okay. This was queen g8, bishop e6, rook g8. This was queen h8, take. This was rook takes g7, knight f6. Check knight f2. Take, check, mate. Doesn't matter which pawn. Take, check, check. This is that puzzle rush tactic that always pops up on chess.com. D3, take, and you win a piece. I did a tactic just like this in a game like a month ago, in an over-the-board tournament game, which was cool. Rook f1, queen e1. Bishop a6 and mate. This was knight a6 and fork. I think this was rook f8 and then take the knight. This is take the knight, then fork. This is queen h6, rook h1. I think this was this. Check, check. Bishop gets involved, and then you mate with one of the two rooks. F5, rook e7. Take here. Let me be precise. Yeah, so he has to walk into check. Yeah, and then it's mate. Doesn't matter where. Okay. This was rook h1, knight d4, I believe. This was the stalemate trick with queen h6, and then stalemate. I think we just picked up the a2 pawn here, if I remember correctly, and then we win the queen. Check, check, checkmate. I think this was knight takes d5, then you take the knight on d4 with check and take the bishop, and you get two pieces and a pawn for the rook. Oh, right, okay. What was the sequence here? I'm trying to be precise again. I think it's rook takes f4. But knight takes f4 also works, I believe. Knight takes f4, they could take back with the knight, but then you're up the exchange and rook d4 looks good. I want to say it was rook takes f4 if I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. Oh no. That does not work. Oh no, that's terrible. That's unfortunate. Rook takes f4, yeah, that was terrible calculation. Rook takes f4 has the knight takes back on f4. And then I'm not winning anything. Ah, okay. I knew knight takes d5 was the move. I forgot which way it was here. It is rook, knight takes f4. Okay. First one wrong on cycle 2. It's gonna happen though. I'm not gonna have it 100% perfect on cycle number 2. Or hopefully it's very, very few puzzles I get wrong though. Take f6 or g7, then f6, and checkmate. This is knight takes e3 and take the bishop. This was take the knight, then check. Take the pawn, then pin. This was bishop d6 to threaten mate first, and then take this. Rook f6, knight h5, win the queen. I think this was queen d4 to f2. Yeah. This is knight to d3, and then you win the exchange. Check and mate. pin and win. I forget if it was rook f4 or bishop b6 first. I have to assume bishop b6 first, then rook f4. And the attack is very strong. Check, take, go over, check, promote, win the rook. Good. Take e2, c1. The famous knight g3, rook a8. Check on f3, and then mate on f2. Take on c4 and mate on f7. This was one of those weird move orders. I think you take the bishop and then you check on h6, I believe. Yeah, there we are. This was win the queen. This was win the rook. Win the queen. Try to trap the queen or make the fork. Take the knight and rook h4, rook h8 mate. Bishop h7, win the queen. I think this was rook e6. Oh, this was one of the ones I got wrong last time because I grabbed the bishop on f4 too soon. I think it's rook e6, but you need to check here first. I'm almost positive I got this one wrong previously because I took the bishop on f4 too quickly. Even though black is better there, but checking first is much better, and then you get the bishop with check as well. This was bishop takes e3, check, and win the queen. Then you check on e4 and take on d4. This is rook h2, queen h4. This is rook d2 and c1. This was bishop b5 and checkmate. Take g6. I don't remember if the move order matters, but you kind of just capture everything that's given and you're up a pawn at least. This wins the queen. Okay. I believe this was rook c7, queen a7. Yeah, this was rook c7, queen a7 first, and then rook c1 comes. Rook a1, rook c1. Oh, this was queen c5, wasn't it? Yeah. Back rank issues. Rook e8, queen f6, and white is winning. Knight e3 or f4. I think e3 was better. I don't think it made a huge difference. Take d5 and then c7 to win a piece. I think this was bishop c6, queen c7 take. This is take f2, skewer. I think this is rook d4 and then rook g5 was unstoppable. This was knight c5, I believe, or knight e5. I think it's c5 because you make the fork. Good. Take b2, then c3, and then you're just up a pawn in the king and pawn in game. I think it's take d4, f5 to c8 to checkmate. Bishop f6, and then you just take the knight when it goes to g6 with the big attack. Take here, take f4 next. Take f6 and h7 is mate. Take here, fork, and take the knight. Queen g5 followed by knight f2 checkmate. I think this was like bishop h3 or something. Bishop h3. I think it was bishop h3, yeah. And then if he takes, you have queen f8 check. And then queen d8 mate. This was knight e5 check, and then take the rook. This was rook a8, a7, check, and then you make the queen. This was knight e5, I believe, and then mate on f7, or take the bishop. I think this was e4, and then you win the bishop on d6 due to the pin. Knight f6, I believe, and then check and win the rook. This was e7. If the queen takes e7, you take c8, otherwise you're threatening queen g7, checkmate. This was check, check, win the queen. This was going all in on the king side, otherwise you win the knight. Hold on. I need to make sure I have these, need to have these things turned on. Make sure I have the Chessable and Quality Chess logos. Shoutouts to both of them. This was knight e3 or bishop e3, and I'm trying to, I think it was knight e3. I think it had to be knight takes e3, because bishop takes, you lose your knight on g4 eventually. Oh, that was right. Was it, I think it might have just been rook e1 here. Yeah, rook e8, sorry, to pile up on the pinned rook. Take this, fork, and take the bishop. Check on c7. And then take here and win the queen. We can take f4 due to the pin on the g-pawn. Was it rook takes f6 or bishop h5 first? If you take on f6, queen e1, check. If you take f6 and bishop h5, you're not winning anything, so you have to start with this first. And then this. Okay. I think you take f3 and inevitably win material. I think it was rook e7. And then, yeah, you can just pick up material. Bishop and pawn are both hit. Here it was this check, and take queen idea. I think we take h7, fork, and then take the queen. I think we take e5, and then fork, or, well, in this case we trade and take the rook. Queen d8 check, and then bishop h7, and we come out ahead the exchange. I think you take here, skewer, take with a pawn. I think it was queen b8 check, take, oops, and this is mate. Take here, check, and then you pin. Knight e3, and then you win the rook. Knight e6, I believe, and then you fork and win the queen. h5 and knight f6 both worked here. I think h5 was better because it won more material. Up before rook. This was knight f6 and then rook e3, I think. Yeah. This was queen f6 and then mate. Knight f3, and you win the queen once the queen blocks. Knight c6 and then rook b8 wins the bishop due to the pin. And you're up a pawn. This was b6. This was rook c3. This was rook e8. Or I guess rook e1. This was bishop h3, check, 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 take. This was queen f5, I think. Queen f5, and then you take the rook on b8. Yeah. Knight b5. Was it knight c7 or e6 first? I think it was knight c7 first. Bishop g7 to win the rook. This was the famous Carlsen-Karyakin game. This was queen h6 checkmate. And okay, kind of blazed through that pretty quickly, did the entire chapter. I think we missed one here. I want to just double check. Only one of these should say difficult, and it was because I just completely messed up the move order. Yeah, here it is. Number 135. This was the one where I got the move order wrong. Every other one should be correct. There we are. Okay. Chapter 1, 223 puzzles done. Guess technically it's 222. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to make sure I mark this on my other spreadsheet and be a little more methodic about this, I will say. Let's do it this way. Woodpecker method number 1. Exercises 1 through 222. 222. 222. 221 out of 222. Okay, let's keep going. I'll just mark this as testing here, here. Okay, let's keep going. I'll try to get through, I don't know, 350-ish today, I guess, or something close to that. Maybe the way I'll do it is, let's see, how should I do this? Maybe I'll do the easy exercises and then probably the next 2 intermediate chapters. Maybe that's another 100 puzzles somewhere in there. These will go a little bit slower again because I may not remember the answers and they're a little bit more difficult. But I'll try to get through these first 3 chapters. And I'm trying to do all the puzzles in 7 days this time. Today's day 1. So, yeah, let's get through at least. That'll be close to 350-ish. Let's at least do these next 2 chapters and see how fast I go back through these. Thanks, Thomas. Okay, let's get right into it. This was bishop d4 and then take on h2 or g3. I don't remember if it mattered which piece we took with. I assume we take with the rook. Okay. This was rook e6. And then queen e4 check if the king takes. If the pawn takes, we have bishop h6. This was e3, I believe. e3 pawn takes bishop d5, hits g2 and c6. If he does it this way, I thought it was rook g6 to hit the pawn. Okay. This was one of the 2 rooks. Okay, it should be the d8 rook, I guess, but they both get the job done. This is just queen e3, and then then bishop c5, I believe. Wow, this wasn't it. Oh, yes, queen d2. That's my mistake. Take care of bishop c5. Okay. I just have I remember the answer. I just have to I might have the move order get slightly messed up, which I should still be as precise as I can, but okay. This is knight c6 and you take the queen, but then you okay, you just okay. This is take g6, f7, and then promote. This was d6, bishop e6, I'm pretty sure. This was knight e6, bishop a5. Oh, well, that's checkmate. This was knight GE6. This was one of the ones I remember having a little bit of trouble with because of something that happens later in the sequence. I'm pretty sure this is the starting move. And then here you take the rook. But it wanted you to find the follow-up, which I remember being very annoying. I think it was, I want to say it was f4. I think it was f4. And then e5, I believe. Okay. I remember that one being very annoying on the first cycle because in my mind I was like, okay, I'm just up the exchange. You know, why do I have to keep solving this? But they wanted you to be as precise as possible. Okay. This was knight c7, pit stop on d6 before going to d8. This one was knight d6. I think I remember having a little bit of a tough time with this one because I was kind of missing this whole idea. And now queen e6 check is winning. No, I'm trying to remember this one. I think it was queen h1. But maybe not. Queen h1, king b6. Like, what do we do after that? I'm not remembering. Okay, this feels like maybe the maybe the first one I have to full blown resolve. So queen h1. If the queen blocks, we have bishop b5 and win the queen, so that's good. If the pawn blocks, I don't remember. Let's see. Oh, wait, it was d5 check first, right? I think it's d5 to start with. That's the important point. Okay. d5 to begin with, then bishop check, and now queen to d8 check. Oh, wait, queen to d8. Yeah, queen to d8. If the queen blocks, you take the knight. Okay. I was trying to remember how we got the... Yeah, it was d5. I was trying to remember how we attacked the king once it was on b6, because I know we don't just randomly check and then not have a follow-up. Yeah, there we go. I think I missed this one in the past because I think I took on c6 en passant, if I remember correctly. Okay. This is knight takes d4, I'm pretty sure. And then this was one of those ones where I wasn't remembering exactly the sequence. I think it wanted you to take on f3. I think it wanted you to take on f3. But I remember thinking a lot during the puzzle solving about taking on f4. But I think you wanted to take... Okay, it is take on f4. Something like this, I assume. Bishop c5, probably. Okay. Knight takes f3. Oh, queen to d5. Okay. Okay. I'm going to just have to remember some of this stuff going forward a bit better. Okay, this was the sequence. This was this one. I remember this being nice. This was check and then f2. Oh, sorry, it's check, take, and then f2. And then you walk up and give mate. Okay, there we are. This was d5, followed by bishop b4 or d4. Yeah. I think it was take f7. I think it was take f7. And then did we check on d8 or take e6? I think we checked on d8 first. No, take e6 first. Okay. Okay. As long as it says alternative, I'm fine with that. What was it here? Queen g4 hits the knight as well as the checkmate threat. I think it's queen g4. Wow. Okay. Take g2, then queen g4? Must be this. Oh, this was rook c8. Ah. And then pawn takes, I think. Or no, you can take with the queen, and then you have mate on e1. I think I messed this one up the exact same way in the past. I think I remember looking at this g2 square, but it ends up not working out. Whereas if you have rook c8, then you just win. Okay, that's my error. This was the sequence. Oh no. Is it just pawn takes d4? It's probably just pawn takes d4. Yeah. Getting a little sloppy. The annoying part is I don't want to mess up the ones I messed up in the past, because then it kind of feels like you're defeating the whole purpose of the pattern recognition part of things. I think it was 95 first, and then this. And then I don't remember if it mattered if you took with the king or the knight. I think I would take with the king, though. Okay. This was a weird one with, like, I think it's rook takes d4, but black doesn't have to take, and then the puzzle just kind of cuts off after something like that, if I remember correctly. Yeah, the puzzle just cuts off here. Okay. This was also a bit of a weird one. I think it was take the knight, then knight d4, and then you take the pawn on f5, and the knight on g6 was like pinned and trapped or something. Yeah, I remember this one being kind of weird. This was knight f2, check, take, and white's probably getting mated. This is take g3, f1, then g4, if I remember correctly. This is take e6, but then queen takes b5, but then you just continue attacking if I remember correctly. This is rook e6, bishop h6, but I think you start with bishop h6 first. Then rook e6, check, check. I think you take this. Yeah, okay. Queen d8, bishop f8. Rook h8, king takes, queen f8, king h7, queen f7, king h8, and then you take on g6 with one of the two pieces. I think you take with the... Oh, you don't take with anything. You can check here. You check here, king comes this direction. If I take on g6 with the queen comes back to e7. But then queen h6 and bishop c4 is made. Okay. Okay. I think it must be the other one. You check here, here. It must be bishop takes g6. Yeah. Okay. Check on c5 and then take e7. Or mate. I think you might have had mate here, actually. Take e7 wins the pawn, or maybe doesn't actually win a pawn, but I think it was some mating sequence. Bishop f4, king d5, rook e5, king c4. Maybe you don't have mate though. I'm trying to remember. Bishop f4 and bishop b8 does not feel correct. I feel like it was bishop f4, rook e5. There's some mating sequence here. Yeah, check, check, check. Checkmate. Okay. Bishop takes g2, queen c6, I think. Was it queen c6 or queen b7? Because they both win a piece. I feel like you want the bishop on c4 so your pawn on a6 is not hit. Oh, right, because when you take on c4, you're going to hit the queen and the bishop simultaneously, which is even better. This was bishop here, but then they're going to throw in f4. And then I think we... I think we take on f4 and then go king f2, if I remember correctly. And then I think it was bishop back to f3. Ah, I probably made that mistake last time too then. Bishop d5. Maybe bishop g2. It's got to be bishop d5. Yeah. Okay. Get the big part of the puzzle correct and then mess up. A little bit annoying. I think it was knight f6, but it might also have been rook d5 first. I think it's knight f6 though. And then check. Okay, I think it was queen h4 then. And then I think we take here attacking the rook. Okay. Got an alternative there. I'm fine with that. I think it's knight takes e5. And then this is a nice checkmate. Rook takes, queen takes, rook e8 check. I think it was this one here. This was knight takes e6. But then after bishop... Hold on. Yeah, there was something weird about this one. I think it was knight takes e6. Queen takes, rook g6 is winning. But after bishop e8, then we had to play rook to g6. Some kind of weird idea. And then here we trade the queens, take the rook, and we're up material. This is bishop takes g6, and then you eventually check on h6 and win the rook. Bishop takes f2, and that's a pawn at the very least. Knight takes f4, wins the pawn as well. I think you wanted to take with the knight, I believe. Okay. Knight e4 and queen h4, followed by taking e4. Knight c6, queen a6, queen a2. Knight h2 and queen h5, I believe. This was like queen c3 and then b5 or something like that. Queen c3, king here, b5, king takes, check. Yeah, that's what it was. Check, check, go back, check, win the queen, or get mate. This was queen f7, knight e7, I think, and then mate. This is take, fork, take. This was rook h8, bishop g3, I believe, or rook h1, bishop g3. I think it was this way of doing it. And then you win the queen. This was d4, I'm pretty sure. I think it was d4 here. And then you trade, take this, and you're hitting the knight on c8. I think this was take, push, and then I think you wanted to play a5, I believe, or was it pawn takes b5? I think it's actually pawn takes b5, because if you go a5, b4, a6, b3, if you go back to stop the pawn, they take here to stop yours. If you keep pushing, they're also going to make a queen, which is not ideal. Whereas if you take the pawn, there's no good way for black to control the b7 square. Here, 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 he's too slow. Takes, here, 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 too slow. So I think we take the pawn, yeah. Very important to take and not push. All right, good. This was f5, bishop h6, something kind of weird like this. Then this was a weird one with like some kind of knight e7, queen g3, or bishop g7, queen g3. I'm trying to remember. I think it was queen g3. Knight goes to g4, take g7, and then h3, and you win a piece. If the knight goes to e8, you checked on e7 and then took on e8. I think this was what it was. Check, take, and yeah, you're going to be up a piece. Okay, good. Happy to have resolved that one correctly. I think queen c5 check. The queen goes to f2 though, which is annoying. What was this one? F2 check and then knight f3. I think we get the knight involved here. Oh wait, I think we check this way. Check, rook blocks. Oh right, check. No. Okay, you can do it this way. Check, and then you get mate. Okay. How many did we get wrong on this chapter? This one, a little bit more wrong on this chapter, but still not very much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we only got 5 wrong. Okay. So I'm just continuing to track all of this. We've done 270 puzzles. That was 50, that was 222, plus 50, 272. We missed 1 on the first chapter, and then, what did I just say on this one? If we're counting from before, that'd be 1 previously, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 wrong so far. That's 266 out of 272. Okay, just keeping things tallied on my side of things. All right, let's go to the next chapter. All right, I think this was rook h2, then queen h6, knight h3, knight g5, if I remember correctly. This wins the queen. This was rook here, check, king g7 to stop the pawn. This was not bishop takes c6. There was something wrong with this. I think this was bishop back to e2. Yeah, bishop takes c6 had the problem of winning the exchange, but then we faced this attack. Our own king is not super duper safe here. The exercise was a red herring. Okay, good to remember that one. Rook takes h3, take on f3, and then rook g2 wins the queen, right? So check, check, yeah. Couple different ways to win. This was knight takes d6, I'm pretty sure. And then check. And then I want to say we check on d5. d5, I believe. I think we check on d5, yeah. If the knight blocks, then we check on d7, then we get the bishop involved. Okay. This one was d5, I'm pretty sure. And then c6, or bishop check and then c6. It must be bishop check first, and then c6. And then we're going to go c7, then b7 check, b8 check, and win. Okay, this was knight e6, rook f4, and then mate. Okay, rook c2, and then bishop to f5, I believe. Yeah, good. This is a famous one with the Anastasia's mate. This one was rook e8 check or something else. I feel like this one was a different move order than what I had originally thought in the first solving session. Rook e8 check, I remember there being like king f7 or something, but maybe even there we can just play rook e1. And I think our position is still quite good, but I don't remember if that's the actual answer or not. I think we can also go rook d1 first, because if they take, we mate. I think it was this, actually. And then you can check and take the bishop. And then rook e8. Okay, good. Got that. This was knight h3, and then check on f3. This was bishop g7. He's going to take on f2, though. And then I think it was queen d4. All right, good. This was take c6, queen c1, or something like that. And then, do we take with the pawn or the queen? I think we take with the pawn. I assume you take on f7? Yeah, okay. Take e2, check, check. I think we take the rook on e2. Yeah. Good. Take e5 and then d4, if I remember correctly, is part of the idea. Yeah. And then we're going to take the rook on g2, then on h6. Take here, check, take, we're up a pawn. What was this one? This was like queen c3 check, pawn f6, knight takes f6. Right, that's what it was. Check, take, and then take. Okay, good. This was a6 and then king d7 or something. This is e6, check, take. This was knight g5 right away or after taking the pawn? Does it really matter? I feel like it's probably knight g5 right away. Check. Was it take the knight on g5 or do something different first? Should be taking the knight on g5, I think. Yeah. And then there's too many threats. Okay, good. Knight g3 check and open up the h-file. Bishop takes d6 and then take on d6 and then take f7. Rook takes, queen d8, queen f8, queen g5, queen blocks. I don't... Hold on. Oh, it's queen d8 first. Queen d8, then take. Check. Did it matter? I think that this got the job done. Was this rook e6? Rook e6, positionally speaking, was strong. I don't remember if that was the actual answer. I don't feel like it's the actual answer. I think you take e8, then h6. I think you take e8. Oh, no. Maybe it is rook e6. Okay. Okay, rook e6. My instinct was rook e6, but I kind of felt like... Yeah, I guess you don't want to do this, because this is actually losing. Interesting. Okay. Rook e6, rook e6. Gotta remember that. Bishop takes h3. Feels like it's screaming out to be played, and then you take... you want to take on g3, but you need to... If you take here, the queen takes and defends. So what was the follow-up here? Oh, you just take g3 right away. I'm sorry. You're already making the pin. This was f6. Pawn takes h4 here. No. It's got to be f6 to start with. Or it's h4 first. Hold on. h4, king f4, king f7, king takes f5, king takes g7. No, that doesn't work. I think it's h4 here, h5 here, here, and then whichever one you take, I take g7 and push the pawn through. So it's got to be h4, h5, and here. There we go. Okay. Had to resolve that one. Rook takes, queen takes, rook a6. I think this, or rook a5. This was a nice one. Good. Rook takes g2 has got to be the move. And then I think it was bishop c4 check followed by rook g1 mate. There we go. Queen d1 is covered. Must be knight takes e4 with this bishop f2 checkmate. Take on d1, bishop b4, and you can't stop both pawns. I think you pick up a pawn. Oh, so bishop b4 first then? I could see that move order being slightly more precise if you wanted to. I don't think it really matters, but okay, it was an alternative. I'm fine with alternative. This was some kind of knight f6, knight g4 type of thing. Or knight h6, rook d8 was the other option. What was this one? There was some way to... I remember there also being some kind of rook to e7 sequence. I think it was this, actually. Rook d7, take rook e7. I think this was the idea. Yeah, okay. Glad I remembered that one. Take e5, check on f6. I think it was this. Check. 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 I think you took here and then took the f7 pawn. Okay, good. Queen d5. Queen d6. Rook b1, queen a3. No, I think it was knight e4 and bishop f3 here on this one. And then the mate on b7. Rook takes f2, then rook takes g3. Right, that's got it. Rook takes, queen takes, king h1. King h1 is annoying. Maybe it was queen h3. I think it might be queen h3, and then there's nothing you can do about rook takes f2. There we go. Okay, so this was a nice little slow move. Taking on g3 or f2 right away doesn't work. You don't have enough of an attack. I mean, you have maybe a ton of pawns, but not an actual mating attack. This was like rook e4, bishop c4, or rook e4, bishop c4, but I think you take f7 first. I want to say it was this. Then take You take here first, or queen f7. I think it was queen f7, I believe. Or knight e5, maybe knight e5. Yeah, knight e5. Okay. Rook e7, and then knight takes f5. And then rook h7, queen h5 is coming. This was rook d3, rook e2. And the attack is strong. This was bishop f4, I think? And then, what was the move here? Then king takes h2 or something simple? I don't think you have to take it. What was it here? Oh, now it's rook c8, queen e7, or queen c8. There we go. Yeah, you can't start with rook e7 because rook f1 is mate, so you need to attack the queen first. This was knight g6, and the knight on a1 is trapped. So this is queen d7, take, check. I think rook g1. Yeah. This was some kind of bishop c2, knight c4 thing. Check, check. I think it was queen g5, knight h5. I think you don't take the knight and you just play rook g1 and continue attacking. Yeah, good. I think you take d4, then e4. Oh, this one. I think I got this one wrong. What was this? It was knight c2, rook e5. I feel like you start with rook e5, but then I can't remember if it was knight c2, then bishop d3, or bishop d3 right away. Might be bishop d3 right away. Okay. I think I previously tried knight c2 check, and then bishop d3. I think I missed this knight d6 idea. Okay, got it correct on the second time around. That's good. This is take g6, check, and then I think you can check or take e6 first. Yeah, and then you're checking on the h file, then the g file with the rook after. Take, check there. I think it was this. Trade, take, here. Okay, winning king and pawn in game. Knight f5, pawn takes, queen takes, we're mating. Knight f5, anything else, we're threatening like knight h6 or something, but knight f5, pawn takes here is annoying. Oh, then it was pawn takes e6, queen f3, knight e7. Okay, it was knight f5. And then what did we do here? Queen c6. That's what it was. Okay, a little bit tricky, but we got the job done. Check, push, fork, take. I think you take here and take. And okay. So we got through 322 puzzles so far. Let's click our way around here. Back to intermediate exercises. How many did I miss within these 50? Hold on, I will double check. One. Okay, only one wrong on this one. So we're through 322. 322, only one more incorrect. I had 6 incorrect previously, now it's 7. 322 minus 7 is 315 out of 322. So 322, we're at 1130. Maybe I could do one more. The next chapter's got 154 puzzles. I wonder if I can skip that one and jump up to the intermediate exercises too, but I do feel like those got more difficult if I remember correctly. Let me see. I can actually check my percentages through here. 477. Let's do it anyways, I guess. We'll, actually, here, what I'll do is, I just want to keep the ordering sequential. Let's at least get up through 350. That'll be another 27 puzzles, I guess. We'll just do it that way. This was knight c4, then knight e4, or knight e4, then knight c4? What was the order on this one? It had to be knight c4, then e4, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay. Okay, next. Rook takes g7, rook g1, queen comes into g6. I think the attack was just way too strong here. Good. Knight e6, and then we fork and win the bishop. This was some kind of rook a2, queen a4, rook e2. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Check, 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 mate. Rook e6, king takes e6. I don't think that was the idea. I can also just trade queens and take the bishop, right? Did that work? I can play rook e6, king e6, rook e7 check, king takes, take the queen. I think that's also very strong. Maybe that was the answer on this one. Yeah. Oh, queen to c6. That was not my intention. Okay, well I got the answer right, but it wasn't the actual sequence I was thinking of. Rook e3, bishop e3, and then bishop c1. Do you take with the queen or the bishop? I feel like you take with the bishop. Yeah, I think it's bishop. Yeah, okay. Rook f2, knight d3. You can't guard the a1 rook and the f2 rook. You can take a1. Okay. This was bishop g3 check, I believe. And then knight f2, and then you take the rook in the corner. Yeah. This is knight h6, queen e5, and then knight f7, and then you win material. I think I messed this one up previously, if I remember correctly. It was knight a3, bishop a3, or something. Knight takes a3, and then bishop takes a3, but then there was something I remember not liking about that. I think it was knight takes... Was it rook takes? It had to be rook takes first here, right? And then takes. And then I guess you took on h6, right? And it didn't really matter if you lost the rook because you're mating white first. Okay, I'm almost positive I got that incorrect on the first cycle. So happy to get it correct on the second cycle. 94 or queen d4 first. I want to say it's queen d4 first, but I'm trying to remember why. Alright, it's got to be knight. Oh. What was this one then? This was bishop f5, wasn't it? And then you take on c3 and you're threatening queen e1. Okay. I don't remember if I got that one wrong before or not. Bishop f5 and queen takes c3. Yeah. Okay. A little bit annoying. Was this rook e8? I think it might be rook e8. And then I think you take here and go to c1. Oh, something different. What is it? Oh, queen e6, I think. You counterattack. That also works. Okay. Knight h6 and then knight e4. And you're just up the exchange. Knight f7, queen e6, knight g5, or bishop c4, I think. I think you take with the g pawn, and then bishop c4. Good. Rook a2, queen takes, rook a6 is good. King moves, rook a1. I think that this was the idea. And then you pin. This is also knight f7, check, bishop g6. Oh, I think I missed this one previously. I think it was... There was some kind of weird knight f6, knight... Hold on, what was this one? Knight f6, bishop f3. You take back on f3, I think was the idea. This was kind of a weird one where... and then it bishop takes b7, king b8, then bishop e5, something like that. I don't know if it matters which move order. Okay, I want you to take here first. And then, yeah, it's a weird one where you lose the queen, but then you have just, like, way too much compensation, is what it comes down to. Okay. This was f4, I'm pretty sure. I just don't remember if you trade. I don't think you trade first. Take, check. And then back rank issues, yeah. Check. And if he goes to the first rank, you check on h1. This was some kind of weird... I think knight c5 works, but hold on. Let me just clearly mess the move order up somehow. It was take d4, then this one. I think you can take c3 and then take on c5 with the other rook as well, but okay, this is a little more precise. Rook e2, you lose the bishop with check, so I think it's like rook d5, queen f3, rook d5, queen f3, like knight e5 or something weird. And then you take and play knight g4 or something like that. Or knight d3. Maybe it's knight d3 actually, no. Knight g4, or take first? And then knight g4. Yeah, you're threatening rook d1 now. Or knight e3, then rook d1. Okay. Alright. Rook h3, knight f6. Check. King e7, you take d7 or d8. Or, sorry, d7 or e8. Okay. Rook takes g3, I think. Or bishop takes g2. Knight takes g2. I think it's rook takes g3. Oh, wow. Is it rook h4 then? Rook h4, pawn takes, bishop takes, king takes, check, check. It must be rook h4 first then. Check, check. Does rook takes g3 not work? It must not work. It's not the right way to do things. Okay. Alright. Messed up that move order on that one. This is f6 and then knight h5 or something like that, I think. Yeah, good. I think this is bishop f7 and then queen b3. Oh. Alright. What was the precise move order here? I feel like it's bishop takes g6 and then check with one of the knights on h4, but then he goes back to h7. Is it pawn takes, maybe? No. I think it's take. And then take here, maybe. Yeah. There's just a lot of threats. Even though you're down a piece, there's just a lot of threats in the position that black has a hard time dealing with. Take d2, then queen a5, or queen a5 first? It's here or it's here. Oops, sorry, here or here. I mean, queen a5 first wins you a piece rather than the exchange, so I think it's this first. Check f7, then take f4 and win the queen. I don't think it matters. Okay, should take with the bishop apparently. It says king takes f1 as plus minus, but it doesn't give it as an alternative. That's annoying. This is a correct answer. They just don't have it labeled correctly. Bishop takes, pawn takes, knight takes, rook d7. I think black defends. Knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, king e7. I think it was this way, though. You take this, then here. Okay. Knight takes, queen takes, rook h7. That's the key idea. Okay, we are through 350. I think we will pause off here for today. 350. How many did I miss in this chapter to add to the 7 I had previously missed? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 incorrect. I was 7 incorrect previously, so 350, which means I've now solved 11 incorrect, which means we're at 339 out of 350. Okay, so what's that? 339 out of 350. 339 divided by 350. That is a 97%, 96.8% accuracy so far. I think through the same 350 previously, we had missed at least 20 by now. And here we've missed 11. Maybe we had missed more than 20, actually. Okay, Not bad, not bad. Okay, so this is day 1, though, of cycle number 2. We're through 350 of the 1,128 puzzles. We have another, what, 770 something to go? 778 to go? I'll try to get this done within 7 days or less. 6 more days to go. I will be back again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for day number 2 of cycle number 2. We'll pick up on exercise 351, continue from there, and we'll get back together tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out, Thomas, Luke, Ernesto. I saw Bobby in there for a bit, and Torty Ritz. Thanks for hanging out today, guys. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day. See you tomorrow, and I will be back then. 10 a.m. Bye-bye.